Good evening. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on Friday, October the 2nd, 2020. And this is Live Talk. I'm Jonga Kandemirin.
And I'm Tungamili Nkomo.
Tonight on our Live Talk show, we are going to discuss about the COVID-19 pandemic, looking at statistics in Zimbabwe and also here in America, where President Donald Trump announced that he tested positive for COVID-19 together with his wife, Miss Melania Trump.
Indeed, yesterday, according to the health ministry, there were 12 positive corona cases in Zimbabwe, and there were no deaths. Also, there were 9 recoveries. And that's been a trend really in the last few weeks. We've been seeing few people testing positive and fewer deaths as well, meaning to date, we have 7,850 people who have tested positive for the pandemic. And we also have 6,312 people who have recovered, meaning there is a difference of 1,310, and those are the people that are still sick, that are still ill from COVID-19, and deaths also remain at 228.
Mm-hmm. And the world over, there are 34,345,000, that is over 34,345,000 cases, and more than 1,023,000 deaths. Here in America, America has recorded over 7,280,000 positive cases with over 207,000 deaths.
Yeli ngaba lichona njani emakhaya siyalamukela kuhlelo lwe LiveTalk silokhe sisakaza sisezindlini ngenxa yomkhuhlane weCovid-19 wona osuhlasele abantu abangu 7,850 eZimbabwe. Izolo ngokutsho kukahulumende kubanjwe abantu abalichumi lambili 12 belo mkhuhlane lo kanti njalo kulaba isishiyagalolunye 9 abafunyanwe sebesindile, okutsho ukuthi bonke asebesindile since umkhuhlane lo waqalayo sebengu 6,312 asebephephile rather asebefile bona bangamakhulu amabili alamajumi phose amathathu 228, njalo abalokhu begula yokwamanje bangu 1,310. Khonapha eMelika khona abanengi selizwile umongameli Donald Trump usebanjwe ngomkhuhlane lo kanye lonkosikazi wakhe uMelania. uTrump wethule umbiko izolo ebusuku sazisa abantu ukuthi hayi laye usetholakale epositive, utholakale elo mkhuhlane lo nkosikazi wakhe. Mbona njalo ukuthi lo mgcinisihlalo webandla lakhe uDonald Trump elama Republicans laye ubanje umkhuhlane lo namuhla Jonga.
Wongo ndizvo zvovadiwa vateereri, nyaya yatiri kukurukura tine nyaya mbiri nhatu dzatiri kukurukura nhasi. Nyaya yekutanga ndechirwere cheCovid-19 munyika. Nezuro takanzwa bazi rezveutano richizivisa kuti vanhu vanosvika 7,850 kana kuti zviuru zvinomwe nemazana masere nemakumi mashanu ndo vabatwa nechirwere ichi kusvika pari zvino, asi pane vakaongororwa nezuro vanhu 12 chete kana kuti 12 ndo vakawanikwa vaine chirwere ichi. Kwoita hapana akawanikwa achishaya kubva kuchirwere ichi, zvakasiya vanhu vafa vari 228 kana kuti mazana maviri nemakumi maviri ane masere. tichitarisa vapona kubva kuchirwere cheCovid-19 muZimbabwe tinoona vanhu vanoita 6,312 kana kuti zviuru zvitanhatu nemazana matatu negumi nevaviri vanhu vapona kubva kuCovid-19 zvasiya vanhu vachiri kurwara kana kuti vachakabatwa nechirwere ichi vari pa 1,310 kana kuti chiuru nemazana matatu negumi ndo vanhu vachiri kurwara nechirwere ichi muZimbabwe. Tiri kuona zvinofadza kwazvo zviri kuitika muZimbabwe zvekuderera kweuwando hwevanhu vari kubatwa nechirwere, asi dzimwe nyanzvi dzeutano dziri kuti dzimwe nguva nzvimbo dziri kuongororwa vanhu kana kuti kuri kubva vanhu vanenge vachiongororwa asi anganzi pachirungu mahotspots, zvinhu zvinogonawo kuti hurumende inge ichionekwa kuti iri kuenda here ichiongorora vanhu ava munzvimbo dzinozivikanwa semahotspots seHarare, Bulawayo nedzimwe nzvimbo dzavakambozivisa. Tanzwawo zvakare muno muAmerica mutungamiri weAmerica Donald Trump pamwe chete nemudzimai wavo amai Melania Trump vachizivisa kuti vawanikwa vaine chirwere ichocho cheCovid-19. Ndanzwawo mumwe wangu mutungamiri Nkomo ari kutaurawo kuti sachigaro webato reRepublican Party rinobva vaTrump abatwawo zvakare aine chirwere ichi nhasi. Saka dzimwe nyaya dzatichange tichikurukura, vazhinji vari kutambira mashoko avaTrump iwayo semashoko akanaka anoshingisa vanhu kuti mutungamiri wenyika abuda pachena kuti ndo zvaitika kwaari. AvaTrump tisakanganwa kuti havasiriwo vekutanga mutungamiri wenyika kana mutungamiri wehurumende vati vabatwa nechirwere ichochi. Takaona mutungamiri wehurumende yeBritain waBoris Johnson vachitaurawo kuti vakambobatwa nechirwere ichocho vakapona kana kurikavha. Takaonawo mutungamiri weBrazil vachibudawo pachena, zvimwe chete nemutungamiri wehurumende yeRussia vakabudawo zvakare pachena kuti vane chirwere ichocho. Imwe nyaya tiri kukurukura inyaya yemakakatanwa ari kuitika mumapato eMDCT neMDC Alliance zvaita kuti vange vachirwisana pamuzinda weMorgan Richard Tsvangirai House apo kuti pange paitanga paberekera ingwe. Nezuro takaona pazvivhitivhiti nemadandemutande pachita kunge pakava patonzi pabatidzwa moto mutungamiri pamuzinda weHarvest House zvichinzi pane vanga vachiedza kupisa muzinda iwoyo. Hatizivi kuti ichokwadi zvakadii. Ndo dzimwe dzenyaya dzatichakurukura Mtunga.
Hongo Jonga, yebo zihlobo olunye udaba esingalo lamhlanje ngaphandle kwengxabangxoza eyenzakalayo ku-MDC ludaba lwama-by-elections. Sibone lamhlanje uhulumende through uminister wezempilakahle ubaba uConstantino Chiwenga sibone besethula umthetho ovimba ukwenziwa kwama-by-elections abemele enziwe mhla ka-5 ngoMpalakazi. Uhulumende wase lamhlanje ukuthi hayi, njengoba ingozi yomkhuhlane we-COVID-19 isakhona isabhahile, lawo ma-by-elections kaseyi ekwenziwa, okuyinto esolwe kakhulu ngabebandla le-MDC Alliance. Lizakhumbula abaningi ukuthi ama-by-elections la ebengawokuvala izikhala ezivuleke ngemva kokuxotshiswa kwamalunga e-MDC Alliance ngunkosazana Thokozani Khuphe lebandla lakhe le-MDCT. I-nomination code ibimele ihlale mhla ka-9 kulinyanga, kodwa akuseyikwenzeka lokho. Naku phela uhulumende uthi hayi, i-coronavirus isabhahile, ngakho akusela ama-by-elections azakwenziwa mhla ka-5 ngoMpalakazi ngoDisemba. Sizakhangela njalo kudaba lwe-Congress ye-MDC. I-update ebekhona lamhlanje ukuthi i-MDCT ivunyelwe yinkantolo ye-Supreme Court ukuthi i-extend isikhathi sayo sokuqoqa i-extraordinary Congress eyokukhetha umholi omutsha. Lizakhumbula ukuthi inkantolo yayithe lolo khetho kumele lwenziwe kunyanga kunsukwana kumaviki rather ambalwa edluleyo, kodwa ngenxa ye-coronavirus akusenzakalanga lokho, okubangele ukuthi leli bandla libuyele enkantolo liyecela i-extension isikhathi futhi. So namhlanje i-Supreme Court ithe hayi, siyalinika esinye isikhathi njalo lolo khetho kumele libe selilwenzile mhla ka-30 ngoNovember. Silabo-ke abamabandla omabili abe-MDCT, abe-MDC Alliance, labe-ZANU-PF, silabo-ke kuhlelo lamhlanje Jonga.
Let me take this opportunity to introduce our guests tonight on our show. We have Mr. Dan Moyo, who is the chairman of MDCT in North America. Correct me, Mr. Moyo. I'm always confusing. Is it North America province, or is just North America?
It is MDC USA province.
MDC USA province. Thank you so much. And we also have Dr. Mavaza, who is a ZANU-PF member based in London. Dr. Mavaza, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Jonga. Thank you, listeners.
Yes, and we can start the ball rolling. We also have Dr. Matthew Nyashanu. We'll bring him in so that he helps us tackle the COVID-19 issue. Ntunga, what can we first go on with?
Let's start off with Dr. Mavaza. Dr. Mavaza, the government has now said no by-elections on December 5. We saw the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission announcing a few weeks ago that these by-elections were going to be held. But today, the Minister of Health says not so fast. And the MDC Alliance is furious, really. They are saying this only benefits ZANU-PF. What say you?
The first thing we need to look at is, what is the reason for cancelling these by-elections? It is a health reason. It is because COVID, Zimbabwe is aware, is alive to the fact that COVID can come again for the second time, as it is done in England. Now, England had a very good time where there was no COVID between July, August, but now it's getting 7,000, 8,000 a day, the new infections. So Zimbabwe, it does not want to have this the second wave of the COVID. And again, to be careful, there will be no distancing in elections. And the campaigns, if they are to be done, it will be difficult to exercise distancing during a rally. So it is a very responsible and a wise move to cancel the by-elections until such a time that people are able to meet without the fear of the COVID. And again, we need to realize that if COVID becomes quite a serious issue, or if it goes unchecked, our economy is not strong enough to sustain such a pandemic. And therefore, to maintain it and keep it out is the best and the responsible way any government should do.
Thank you, Mr. Mavaza. John.
Yes, Mr. Moyo, your take on the suspension of by-elections and what Dr. Mavaza just said.
Yeah, we're very disappointed that the by-elections have been cancelled, but we understand fully the reasons because we have to take into consideration our people's health. We cannot experiment with people's lives. COVID is serious, as you guys stated earlier when you were giving out the statistics. It is a serious pandemic and should be treated as such. But yeah, it would have been a great opportunity for us as MDCT to showcase that the People's Party is back in the rightful hands, and that we're going to contest effectively to fill those positions. But yeah, we will wait for till another day to do that. It gives us ample time also to put our house in order with our extraordinary Congress that we're planning for, and to get ready for a good contest when the by-elections are eventually held.
Kodwa mnumzana Moyo, abe-MDC Alliance bayakusola kakhulu lokhu bathi yini elikubangeleyo ngoba belixotsha amalunga abo ikathesi sokubhenefita izanu ngoba akusela khetho liyakwenziwa.
Amalunga abo abawathethe kuphi ngoba ngamalunga ngabantu esabafakayo thina abapandukayo decide ukuthi abasalandeli iphathi yethu ngikho saba-recall. So i-MDC Alliance I think imele ukuthi ikicaca ukuthi kahle abazama ukwenza yini ngoba sebephula imithetho yonke, baphula umthetho wephathi, baphula umthetho welizwe. So asazi ukuthi bafuna ukuthi kahle kwenziweni. Thina asizange siphule imithetho. It was within our right ukuthi sirecall abantu laba ngoba abantu laba besebedecide ukulandela i-individual enguNelson Chamisa balahla iphathi lama-rules ayo lama-principles ephathi badecide ukuthi bona sebezolandela i-individual. So thina silabantu abaningi abakhepephu ukufila lawo ma-position and besiredi lalabo bantu ukuthi siwafile lawo ma-position ama-by-election.
Kodwa Moyo baza kuba ngabantu benu njani njengoba lahamba lina kukhetho lilomakhuphe lilama-candidates enu, i-MDC Alliance yahamba layo kukhetho ilama-candidates ayo, lina awenu ama-candidates adliwa njalo umakhuphe wathola 0.something%. Those are the facts. So lizathi ngabantu benu njani laba kathi ibona baya kukhetho bengabe-alliance?
I-alliance leyo khuluma ngayo yayifonywe nini Mfokankomo ngoba sisiya kukhetho ngo-2018 i-alliance kwakuyiphathi yamabandla angu-7
lina lalingekho phakathi phela lalizimele liloThokozani Khuphe liyi-MDCT, a distinct party. I-alliance layo iyi-distinct party yodwa.
I-alliance was never a distinct party. That's a fallacy. Ngamanga lawo ayizange ibe i-distinct party. Ochamisa into abayenzayo is badluthula umbuso wephathi to a point yokuthi basebenzise igama elithi alliance as if li-synonymous li-outside of i-MDCT, yet i-agreement ye-alliance yayisisho ukuthi i-MDCT libandla eli-part of that alliance. So isitsotsi abasenzayo sesikhethe up labo manje ngoba that's why igcine siya ku-Supreme Court ukuthi siyokulungisa kona lokho, and sekulungisiwe ke manje, but they still go back and try to claim ukuthi babe libandla. Ibandla liphi? I-proof yakhona ikuphi?
Thank you, Mr. Moyo Siyabonga. And let's go to the MDC Alliance official, and that's Dr. I didn't quite get your name, Dr.
Dr. Nyashano. No, I'm not an MDCT Alliance. I am a social scientist. I'm a lecturer at Nottingham Trent University.
Okay, sorry about that. And what's your take on, all this MDC nonsense? What's going on?
This is what explains Zimbabwe is a banana republic. We are dealing with a government which has lost its moral compass, which has no idea of what is called the rule of law, and it is really a painful journey to travel, especially if you are a peace-loving citizen of Zimbabwe, where you see a party masquerading with one name, participating in an election using the statutory instrument of a government, and having lost an election, and the government feeling the pinch of a pure opposition, they try to connive with a losing party to try and bring down an official opposition. This is a disadvantage to an ordinary person in Zimbabwe. In the first place, why did MDCT enter into the statutory books of Zimbabwe and be registered as a political party. If MDC Alliance was not a formal party that had been registered, the system, the rule of law in Zimbabwe should have applied. It never applied. They change the rules of the games as they lose. This is a banana republic. There is nothing more that you can talk about. And this is why our country will never go forward. This is why even the people who are supposed to be supporting Zimbabwe, the South African government, is tight-mouthed with what is happening in Zimbabwe. How can you have people just changing things like that? That is typical a banana republic. If you have never seen one, ZANU-PF, MDCT, they are conniving to trample on the people's democracy. And they are even destroying this country. And this fallacy of ZANU-PF talking about COVID, yet they've let in COVID killing people, thousands and thousands, and burning money. A collection of corrupt criminal cabal. This is very painful to an ordinary citizen. And now we are sitting here. People are languishing in prison because they've actually pointed out that ZANU-PF is corrupt. And now they are destroying the opposition, which should actually be fighting for the people. This is a child play. And the world is laughing. It is laughing.
Thank you, Dr. Nyashanu. Dr. Mavaza, ndrukunzwa kuti muzi kufara zvachose.
Thank you so much. Actually, I'm saying Mofu Nyashanu is loud sounding nothing. There is a problem here. Democracy entails the rule of law. What MDCT did was following the rule of law. Zimbabwe, rather the political parties, it is not the first time of a political party to take a dispute before courts in several countries, even Zimbabwe itself. Even ZANU-PF had taken its own problems to court. MPs have sued the government and other things. So MDCT went to court, the court of the nation, and the court ruled in their favor. I want Dr. Nyashanu to remember one thing. When MDCT went to court, they did not go on their own. Nelson Chamisa instructed a lawyer to go and defend and oppose the application of MDCT until the ruling came from the Supreme Court ruling in favor of MDCT. When Nelson Chamisa lost, it was actually MDCT versus Nelson Chamisa, who was now calling himself MDCA. When they lost in court, don't forget that he then appealed. Why would he appeal if he was not part of it? Why would he appeal if it was not him? So you see, if the court takes its course, the law takes its course, it is called due process. I do understand my brother being a social scientist, my brother understand the ethics of the law. When it comes to law, you follow what the judge says. Whether the judge rules in your favor or against you, it does not make him political. It does not make him being used by ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF had not used any of those courts, neither the judges. So if you look into it further, the fact of what is happening in Zimbabwe now between Thokozani Kupe and Chamisa, it just shows that the opposition is so difficult in itself. It cannot hold itself together. So therefore, it cannot hold the country. So they only want to cry foul when things are not in their favor. They are the very first ones who rushed to court and they lost. And now they are blaming the courts. So you see, they want a partisan court. They are flowing up a victim card. To be honest, and in all fairness, I give my respect to Thokozani Kupe. She took the matter to court. It's an inside thing. Now coming to the point my brother raised about the by-elections. You see, Mr. Nyashanu, look at this issue. There are by-elections. MDC, if it is a legitimate argument that they their members were taken unlawfully from court. They should have gone back to court and make an appeal against the recalling of these members, like what PDP of BT did. Their mayor was recalled. They went to court and the court said the recalling was wrong. Why didn't the MDC do the same? Why do they only have to rush to the other countries and claim and just shout at the government? People must learn to fight their battles. They must not only belittle their government and their country, and they must not only belittle MDCT because it's led by a woman. I don't support MDCT. I don't support Coupe, but she has been upright in a beliefs of democracy. So when democracy fails because there is one noisy person called Chamisa, she went to court, and that's exactly what should be done. We cannot just vilify our governments on the basis of the ruling, which is just and a just ruling given.
Thank you. Thank you, Vamavaza. And Dr. Rosizo, hold your horses. We have an MDC Alliance official who will be joining us shortly. Sizwe ukuthi yena uthini. But before we do that, let's go back to hold your horses, Dr. Nyashan. Mnumzana Moyo ngize kuwe, i-MDC yazise namuhla ukuthi ama-nominations for i-Congress will be done between mhlaka 24 October kusiya ku-28 October. Njalo i-Congress ngokwayo iza kwenziwa between mhlaka 18 December to 20 December. Who is eligible to run at your Congress, Mr. Moyo? Njengoba uChamisa lithi selamxoxa lithi usengu-secretary, abantu bakhe bayavunyelwa yini ukucontesta kuli Congress la uChamisa?
Well, as you know, we had structures. Lama structures ayikhona ngo-2014 lapho esaba khona le last Congress yethu. Lawo ma-structures yiwona okumele ukuthi abe ngama-delegates ku-Congress lezayo bakhethe umongameli omusha owe-party. So ama-structures lawo silawo. Of course, abaningi bakhona ngoba at that time sasiyi-MDCA 1 angithi. uChamisa wangakwenza ubuzanka bakhe lo babenzayo obokudluthula iphathi. So la uChamisa ula ilungelo lokuthi abuye azovota. But njengoba wazixoxisa ephathini, since i-constitution yethu clear ukuthi ungadeclare ukuthi awuse your member ephathi yethu. That's what it is. Usuze expelile wedwa. So uChamisa wazi-expela from iphathi. And labanye bakhe abaningi lokho bezi-expela every day. They're just simply shooting themselves in the foot. Because at the end of the day, even though they are now crying unity, unity, we know that that's fake unity. Because deep down, they are still pledging allegiance to an individual. And therefore, it is such people that are not going to be allowed. So they are still not part of the party.
Mm-hmm. But Mr. Moyo, if the party reverted back to the 2014 structures, does that not nullify all the expulsions and suspensions of members?
Well, what happened was the party reverted to the 2014 structures after the Supreme Court ruling in March 2020. Subsequent to that, individuals came out and stated that they don't belong to the party. So they expelled themselves, even though they'd been reinstated as 2014 structures. They expelled themselves because the party constitution is clear that if you cease being a member of the party by choosing to follow another individual or another party, then you cannot be part of us. So yes, they were given that opportunity and they squandered it.
Let's hear Dr. Nyashano. I see you raising your hand.
Oh no, yeah, well, there are two things that I want to respond to here. The first thing I want to respond to what Dr. Mavaza was actually talking about. One of the things that
I don't know what happened to Dr. Nyashanu there. He just disappeared. I don't know what happened, but we have Mr. Zizai Rujizo, who is the MDC Alliance Vice Chairman for North America Province. Mr. Rujizo, welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, masvika varizvidzo tichitaura nenyaya yemakakatanwa ari mumapato eMDCT neMDC Alliance. Ndofunga manzwa vamwe vachitaura kuti vari kushandisa mastructures a2014 sezvakatarwa nedare, asi vakanga vazodzingwa mubato varamba kutevera musangano weMDCT vakanga vadzingwa mubato havachakwanisa kunge vachikwikvidza musarudzo dziri kutarisirwa kuzenge dzichiitwa. Ndofunga vamoyo kana ndisina kutsanangura zvazvo munogona kundigadziridza.
Ndizvo chaizvo.
Yes, saka varuzvidzo tipeiwo pamire bato renyu reMDC Alliance panyaya iyoyi.
Yeah, MDC Alliance ibato rakafomwa richibva muMDCT. Saka pakazonzi nekoti dzokerai kuma structures ya 2014. A lot had happened within MDCT. Zvokuti zvizhinji zvaida kuti vanhu vagare pasi votaurirana. But chakanetsa ipo pai ndechekuti pane vakanga vakutoziva kuti izvo dare richataura zvakati. Murikundinzwa?
Tiri kunzwa iri kuita ichibreka zvayataura henyu.
Ya, pane vanga vakutoziva kuti dare richataura zvakati. Saka kana tataura zvakati isi toda kuti tiite zvakati. Handisi kuda kurova mbwa ndakaviga mupinyu. Vamonzora navakomichi vanga vakutoziva zvichataura dare. Vaziva zvichataura dare vakabva vaenda kudare vachinohaijeka the decision yanga yatorwa nedare iya kuti ini ndindato uyo akati ini ndindato sekretari. Dare paranga rapa decision yaro ranga richipa decision kuMDCT kuti itai zvakati zvakati zvakati. Dai vakamirira kuti decision yapuwa nedare yoenda kuDCT kunova kune head office yavo vosikotaura kuti no varume ndo zvataura dare izvo, but ivo vanga vakutoita fanika part of the judge of the judiciary. Ndobva vahijaika the decision iyayo ndobva vaenda nayo. My intentions avo anga kutoti isita kutotonga panapa. Isa hatina kuramba kuti izvo decision yatorwa nedare iri wrong, but maitiro akaita vamwe vedu ndo anga ari wrong.
Saka MDCT yakadaidzira sarudzo kana kuti yakadaidzira extraordinary congress iye nhasi, imi munoenda here muri nhengo dzeMDC Alliance, munoenda here kuMDCT congress iyo extraordinary congress?
Zira kuti kune extraordinary congress, it's not an individual. Kune national council yachi ya 2014 iyoyo nestanding committee ya 2014 iyoyo vakagara pasi vakadedzera kuti uyai kune congress tinoenda. Asi akadedzerwa neindividual anenge atogadzirisa zvinhu zvake. Iyo kwase imimi ameno ndanzwa tichipinda ndanzwa kuti hanzi kune vanhu vakasuspendwa vakazi yanga itori manyuvha yekuti ngatidzingei nhingi so that tinoenda tiri clear. The ground must be level so that kana muchitamba bhora harikungurikire one side.
Right. Ndofunga ntunga kana une mibvunzo miviri mitatu tikande tibva tambozopinda munyaya yekuwe COVID-19 positive kwa President Trump nemudzimai wavo, tichitarisawo nemamiriro akaita nyaya dzeCovid kuZimbabwe. Ngatinzwe kuna Mutunga kana uine mibvunzo miviri mitatu.
Varuzvidzo vechidiki veMDC yakanga iripo muna 2014 vakabvuta Harvest House kutaura zvino ndofunga vachirimo vari kuti vachamisa namuzvare Thokozani Kupe ngavagare pasi vakurukure vagerekete vabatanidze musangano. Zvii zviri kunetsa kuti vaviri ava vagare pasi vakurukure? Varuzvidzo.
Oh, thank you very much. much. Hello.
Yes, audio
Hello.
yenyu iri kudzima. Yes, tiri kunzwai. But muri kudzima.
Right. Ndakutaura kuti zvakaitwa youth yakunda vanhu vavo zviri right saizvo. It as an individual I support it 100%. Vakuru vanga vaida kutoura the function yanga iripo yana Monzori komichi tarisa kuti havana vari kuparliament ende to suspenda macancelors. Pane maprocedures anoitwa kuti ususpend munhu ute recall. National Council yaifanira kugara pasi yoziviswa kuti ndo zvatiri kuita vowirirana, but zvese izvo zvanga zvisisatomboitwa. Vanga vakutomhanya kuti vaputse musangano so that pavanozoenda kumacongress anoenda vari vega kuita competition ruwega wamhanya utore number 1 ndokutopedza. Hazvina kunaka zvakaita izvo. Youth itori right pai kuti huyai mubatane kana mabatane toita maelections.
Thank you so much, Varushidzo Ntunga.
Mnumzana Moyo, ilizimisele yini njenge-MDCT ukuhlala phansi likhulumisane loChamisa libambane libe ngumhlangano munye njalo?
Oqala uChamisa kumele accept i-Supreme Court ruling. So that's number 1. He needs all entirety. Amelanga pick and choose ukuthi ngizovuma lokho angisoze ngivume lokho. Once I accept the Supreme Court ruling, that means ukuthi uyabuyela ukuba ngusecretary we-policy and research okuyiyona okwakuyiposition yakhe ngo-24 after 2014 Congress. That's number 2. Number 3, kumele ancenge adenounce ukuthi yena wathi akusiyo member ye-MDCT. Silawa ama-audio agcwele all over social media esithi yena akusiyo member ye-MDCT. So we need to know ukuthi uza ngayiphi indlela, uza ngaliphi icele. Maye sithi uza kithi etuzokhuluma lathi, he must humble himself to start off with. Angabuya ku-high horse ezitshela ukuthi yena nguye. Then ayikho into ezophumelela lapho. 1, kumele abuye sazi ukuthi uzo-addressa u-acting president we-party yena engu-secretary we-policy and research.
AbakaChamisa bathi khonokho elikukhulumayo ukuthi uChamisa must humble himself kulapho elilahleka khona, ngoba uChamisa wanqoba uMakhuphe kukhetho wathola 2.2 million votes, uMakhuphe wathola 400 and something thousand kuphela.
It's neither here nor there. uChamisa wasebenzisa ama-resources ephathi wathola imali ezazi imali fraudulent okwakumele ziye kuphathi, wasebenzisa lezo mali ukubuilda icampaign yakhe, waba le-war chest. He managed to go and hoodwink abantu all over the country ngemali zomhlangano, ebatshela ukuthi yena nguye oseyinkokheli eyomhlangano, ebatshela amanga yena illegitimate. So that is neither here nor there. Abantu bavota besitshela ukuthi bavotela umhlangano ngoba betshelwa amanga ukuthi uChamisa uthi yena nguye oseyinkokheli yomhlangano.
uChamisa made it clear though there was no ambiguity whatsoever isiya kuma-elections. uChamisa wayemela i-MDC alliance, uMakhuphe wayemela i-MDCT. Therefore there was a distinct choice to ama-voters eZimbabwe. Babekwazi ukuthi kulo Makhuphe kulo Chamisa. Akuzange kwaba le confusion ukuthi singathi bakhona abantu abavotela uChamisa becabanga ukuthi bavotela uMakhuphe.
Mr. Nkomo, izimali uChamisa azisebenzisayo for icampaign yakhe zazivela kuphi? Which party were those monies destined for? Were those his monies? Was MDC Alliance in existence in parliament to receive those monies? Those monies belonged to the party. He used the party funds to fund his own campaign. That's fraud.
Before you go to Mavaza, Pinda Enyuwa, Dr. Nyashan.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted just to highlight was You know, Dr. Mamaza, what he's trying to portray is actually like when you see a leopard trying to help a goat which is which has got its young ones. You know what it is up to. It is up to eating those young goats. This is exactly the relationship that is so. It's a sinister relationship that we are seeing between MDCT and the ZANU-PF criminal cabal. It's so clear that they are in code to try and destroy the opposition, and that has come out clear. You find the MDCT putting its effort in trying to do down MDC Alliance, not ZANU-PF.
Dr. Nyashano, 30 seconds.
Yeah, not ZANU-PF. And it's so surprising. And more to that, it is so surprising that you then see people who are actually saying that, oh, MDCT is saying we have expelled certain people. Are they now going to constitute a quorum if they expel those people who are in MDC Alliance? And because those people in MDC Alliance, most of them were in the 2014 structures. How are you going to constitute a quorum so that you can stand to expel other people? That's ridiculous. If you look at all those power dynamics and
thank you, Dr. Nyashano, thank you. Regaitipe mukana kuna Dr. Mavaza a minute. Dr. Mavaza nokuti toda kumboti kurukure nezve COVID-19 nekuwanikwa vaTrump mutungamiri weAmerica vaine COVID-19 uyewo kutarisa uwandu hwevanhu wave kubatwa neCOVID-19 kumusha. Taurai tinzwe Dr. Mavaza.
Just in quick, Dr. Nyashanu, I think I was kunzwisisa. MDCT is opposition. It remains opposition. So ZANU-PF is not trying to put the opposition down. The opposition is breaking itself up. As ZANU-PF, we cannot stand in between. We cannot be the reconciliators of these two fighting lunatics. All what you have to do as a party is to watch. If your enemies are fighting, sit down and watch. But the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So if these two are fighting, we choose a friend amongst them. But that does not mean that we are biased. Again, it's a sad thing for Zimbabwe as a nation, because in a democratic world, there has to be an opposition party. So if the opposition is weak, the government in power is not checked, is not supervised, is not controlled. It becomes the power in itself. And we are saying shame on MDCT and shame on MDCA. They have to learn to sit down and talk. Again, I want you to understand one thing. I mean, all of us, not necessarily to come after Dr. Hassan, but the MDCA and MDCT. You see, MDCT and MDCA, they are doing a lot of speculation, finger pointing, blame game, and Chamisa is a problem. He's full of I know, he knows everything, he thinks he's the only opposition. But people should think for the country first. When we talk about politics, we are not only talking about the ruling party, we are talking about every other individual in the country. So in other words, I would say in short, Jonga, there is a big problem in our opposition. I think Chamisa must move on.
I think Mr. Moyo, just 30 seconds, Mr. Moyo, you may want to respond before we move to the COVID issue.
Yeah, I take advice from what Dr. Mavaza is saying. Yes, our party was dismantled deliberately, but I think ZANU-PF had a hand in that in the first place, because Mugabe, Kushungo, G40, those people, they supported Chamisa, they propped up Chamisa, they pushed Chamisa to come and destroy the party. Now that same Chamisa has become uncontrollable, because now the ZANU-PF has changed guard. It's got new leadership now that is now opposing what their former leader left in place. Mugabe created Chamisa. He created the monster that is Chamisa in an effort to destroy the MDC. Now we are correcting that, and we put the blame squarely on ZANU-PF for creating Chamisa and making him what he is. Now that they have decided that because they have new leadership in ZANU-PF, They are no longer going to prop him up. That's what has caused the problem in our party. What we are doing now is we are cleaning our party. We are going to courts where we have a legal basis to clean our party so that we have a strong opposition that is not infiltrated by G40, that is not infiltrated by ZANU acolytes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moyo. Ntunga, we only have 14 minutes to be precise, 13 minutes to discuss about the COVID-19 pandemic. Go ahead, Ntunga.
Yebo Jonga, abasanda siqhuma singomsakazo we-Studio 7 njalo sikuhlelo lwe-Live Talk. Labo abasuke lathi from the beginning ngelethemba lizwile ukuthi umongameli weMelika umnumzana Donald Trump uba nje umkhuhlane we-coronavirus izolo ebusuku lo nkosikazi wakhe uMelania. uTrump simbonile kunsukwana ezedluleyo ube ku debate stage lo baba uJoe Biden lapho abachukane khona bachukana. uBiden uthi yena laye usehlolwa lo mkhuhlane njengoba bebeku stage sinye bedebate ukuthi bekunkulumo mpikiswano ukuthi laye engaba elawo yini lo mkhuhlane. Mbona ama results ka Biden akakaphumi kodwa uTrump again uthi ufunyanwe elawo umkhuhlane we-coronavirus lo mkakhe. Mnumzana Moyo ulubona njani lolu ta?
Yeah, ngizozama ukuyifaka ngesilungu so ngitranslate ngesindebele. It's a matter of chickens coming home to roost. uTrump all along ubephikisa ukuthi yena i-corona le i-fake kanjani. So I think the fact ukuthi yena khona manje usebanjiwe leli gciwane angazi ukuthi i-narrative yakhe sezoyitshintsha thini manje mayikhuluma le base yakhe ngoba ubetshela ibase yakhe ukuthi ama-maski hayi akula need yokugqoka ama-maski, ungabalala igciwane leli hamba uyophuza ibleach noma ijitolo uzoba right. Sifuna ukubona nekwenza konke khona lokhu njengoba eselala igciwane leli. All I can say mina is he lays a big dent to ama-followers akhe ade eba-misleader ebatshela ukuthi i-COVID le is fake, ayikho, even though iqiniso elazi ngoba when you listen to ama-conversation akhe lo Bob Woodward uyabona ukuthi wawonisho as early as February ngegciwane leli ukuthi igciwane leli liyeza and li-deadly, but wakhetha ukuthi atshela ama-Americans amanga angakhuluma iqiniso, angaphumela egcekeni ngegciwane leli. Namhlanje selimtholile. Angisho ukuthi ngiyakuthokozelela lokho, angikuthokozeleli, kodwa I think kuzonceda ukuthi kube le focus ukuthi baqala ukufocus on fighting igciwane leli ngoba if useli infect i-first family, then that means igciwane leli can infect anyone because uTrump ule protection enkulu kakhulu. Abantu bakhe bonke who come next to him bayatestwa on a daily basis, but yena uyampempera esiyale emaralini ebiza abantu ebatshela ukuthi bangagqoka ama-mask ngoba ama-mask ngawo ezithutha. So namhlanje selimtholile igciwane leli, so sizobona-ke ukuthi campaign yakhe izospina kanjani udaba lolu.
There, before you translate in Tunga, I just checked on Twitter, and there are reports quoting the AP and Snopes and factchecking.org. They are saying President Trump did not call COVID-19 a hoax at a rally in February. Contrary to claims circulated on Friday, the president was in fact referring to criticism from Democratic officials. That's according to fact checkers. What do you say about that?
Well, Trump is a pathological liar. He can lie straight faced. He can say one thing today, and after an hour change his mind and say, I never said that. We heard him at the debate saying that he doesn't know who the Proud Boys are, these white supremacists. And then later when he was now cornered, he turned around. I mean, at the debate, he knew them. He told them to stand aside and stand by. But then afterwards, when he was cornered and asked, "Who are these Proud Boys?" he said, "I don't know them." We know that that's how Trump operates. He's a pathological liar, so I wouldn't be surprised that right now he can turn around and say that he never said that COVID was a hoax.
These are fact checkers who are coming up with this.
Okay. And also, Mr. Moyo, of late he has been saying he supports the wearing of masks, and even at the debate stage, he had the mask in his pocket. He took it out to show the people.
But Trump will just be politicking. He will say one thing, that I support wearing of masks, and then in that same sentence accuse Biden of wearing a mask and saying he wears the biggest mask every time. Why does he have to do that? So you can see that this is a confused man.
Let's hear from Dr. Nyashano. Dr. Nyashano, we know you are based in London, but the news that President Donald Trump and the First Lady tested positive for COVID-19 is something you heard there. What's your take on this?
I think from a public health perspective, this should usher a new dispensation in terms of how health promotion messages are being pushed by leaders. It's not pleasing that Donald Trump has got the COVID-19 and his wife. But what lessons should we take from now? We know that there was a study that was carried in America, and it found out that Donald Trump was one of the most single influences in terms of how people believe in messages about COVID-19, which should teach us a lesson then that now that this COVID-19 can affect anybody, he should use his position to try and push for positive health messages and protect people, rather than to fight against the facts of science in trying to prevent COVID-19. So he should actually be seeing this as something that is that should be taken to an advantage, that this is what it can do. It can affect anybody, and COVID is there, and you need to protect yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Nyashanu. Dr. Mavaza, murikuzvionawo sei nyaya yavaTrump?
Inyaya inosuwisayo kuti mukuru wenyika abatwa nechirwere, asi vachitondere kuti chirwere ichi chedziva mupengo hachina vachinonyara, hachina vachinotya. Tikatarisa muno muEngland, mutungamiriri wehurumende muno munyika akabatwa nechirwere, koita murume wamambokadzi vakabatwa nechirwere, vakabatwa futi nechirwere jinda guru, mwanakomana wamambo anonzi Prince Charles akabatwa nechirwere akanogarawo kwake ega, mudzimai akari kwake ega. Tikaitawo dzimwe nyikawo dzakaita sana Brazil, dzakaita sana Russia, kuFrance maministers akabatwa nechirwere akawandisa. Saka hapana chinoshamisira kuti chirwere chabata mutungamiriri wenyika, but chaita kuti zvive nekudengenyeka pasi rese ndepekuti Trump agara ari aclown, munhu uya anga asingatore seriously chirwere ichi. Saka nekuda kwaizvozvo zvaita kunge zvive nechiratidzo pasi rese kuti chirwere ichi hachina basa kuti wataura matauriro akaita sei, kana ukasazvidzivirira chinokubata. So chobva chatiratidzawo kumusha kwedu kuti isusu kumusha vanhu vazhinji vanga vatoita netsika yekuda kutoenda kunopemberera murodhi, kunoratidzira kuti muri kutipirei marestrictions. Ngationei kuti chirwere ichi ndechechokwadi, vanhu vanofa nacho. Chobva chava chidzidzo chikuru kuMDCT, MDCA namukoma wangu Dr. Nyashanu kuti musaende kumabi-elections muna December tikati akanzure, nekuti chirwere ichi chiriko zveshuwa, hachisi chekutambisa. Uyezve vaTrump vaita munongedzo pasi rese kuti chirwere chinokubata kunyange vakatenderedzwa the most powerful soldiers on earth, chinongokubata chete, chinenge mosquito, chinopinda pachada. Saka ngativei vanhu vakangwarira, vanogara vakabatirira kuti titeedzere mitemo yatinopiwa nenyanzvi dzezvirwere izvi.
Mr. Moyo, briefly, doesn't what has happened to Trump justify the postponement of these by-elections in Zimbabwe?
Well, I think the idea of postponing the by-elections is noble. As much as we are disappointed as the opposition, as MDCT, because we know that we control the urban cities, we're definitely going to win a landslide. We know for sure, so we are disappointed. But it's what it is. The health of the nation should come first. I hope you are not, by asking that question, suggesting that maybe the US should also postpone the presidential election, because that is not going to happen. Whether Trump is in bedridden over COVID, we are still going to have the election, even if he's been trying to stifle voters and trying to discourage people from going to vote, trying to discourage the vote by mail. America has voted through pandemics over the years, has voted through wars over the years. So the election is going to happen. All I can say is that this is a teaching moment for Trump, that he should start listening to the scientists and he should start lying to the American people about the dangers of COVID.
Dr. Nyashano, tasarwa nema minutes maviri chete. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. I wanted also to comment about the state of situation in Zimbabwe in terms of COVID-19. Definitely, what has happened in America should actually be taken positively to inform communities about the dangers of COVID-19, and also to make sure that Trump should use his leadership qualities to push the prevention of this disease on the population. But more to it, we also need to see to it that in Zimbabwe the numbers are going down, but I don't think those numbers are going down genuinely, because we know that people were infected and they traveled to different parts of the country which are not manned by any healthy professionals, and the testing there is zero. And so what we are seeing is that the hot spots, which are no longer hot, which have been transferred into the raw areas, that's where they are still testing. And I think they should actually focus on the raw areas as well.
Thank you, Dr. Nyashano. Antunga, we only have 30 minutes. Your last word.
30 seconds, you mean?
30 seconds. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. I wanted the discussion to go on and on and on.
I know. And it's unfortunate, though, that Mr. Arushizo's phone was very shaky. The connection was very bad. But what a discussion on the goings on in the MDC and the coronavirus pandemic. Mnumzana Moyo, maybe ngamafitshane mpela. Sibonile okwenzakeleyo lamhlanje li-announce iCongress ukuthi inini ama-by-elections edluliselwa phambili. Akusipha amazwi akho okugcina ebantwini beZimbabwe ngamafitshane.
Mina ngithi ebantwini beZimbabwe asibambaneni sakheni ilizwe lethu si-united, ngoba asingeke siqhubeke lezanu PF esile 40 years isehluleka ukubusa, isibhidliza ilizwe, i-corruption is all over. Asibambaneni maZimbabwean, sibe le party, siqinise iphathi yethu ibe yiphathi elandela umthetho, kube yiphathi elandela i-constitution yayo elama-values nama-principles.
Thank you so much, Mr. Denmoyo. Our time is out, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Matthew Nyashano, who is a health professor at Nottingham Trent University in the United Kingdom. And I also like to thank Mr. Denmoyo, MDC, America Province Chairman, and Dr. Simba Mavaza, ZANU PF member based in the United Kingdom. This is Jonga and Emiri signing off. I say good night, Zimbabwe.
And I'm Tungamili Nkomo.